From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live on Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Laddie Williams.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, it is indeed a significant day for the people of Ekiti State as voters across all 16 local government areas participate in the 2026 governorship election. And the air in Ekiti comes under scrutiny as Yaga Africa raises concerns over discrepancies in ballot papers, result sheets, and the list of candidates published by INEC. Voters also head to the polls today for by-elections in the Rivers Southeast Senatorial District and the Zuru State constituency seat in Kebbi State. And the United States denies Iran's claims regarding a potential closure of the Strait of Hormuz following Israeli attacks in Lebanon.
On sports news tonight, Ronald Koeman's Netherlands put one foot in the World Cup knockout rounds with a convincing 5-1 victory over Sweden.
Elections kick us off tonight. Residents turned out in their numbers today for the high-stake governorship election in Ekiti State. While most areas reported a calm and orderly process, some polling units in Ado-Ekiti and state capital at Kere grappled with technical glitches in the bimodal voters accreditation system, the BIVAS machines, causing accreditation delays. This report captures how the process unfolded.
Election day in Ekiti State begins on a calm and orderly note, with both voters and INEC officials demonstrating a strong sense of duty and preparedness. INEC ad hoc staff and serving youth corps members are sighted as early as 7:30 a.m., moving electoral materials to polling units across the state. While voters across most local government areas are seen checking their names on voter registers displayed on notice boards. From Ado-Ekiti to Ikere, eligible voters first confirm their names on the registration list before proceeding to join queues, braving the rising heat and extending waiting times to participate in the exercise. However, the process records some early hitches in parts of Ado-Ekiti and Ikere, where BIVAS machines experienced technical glitches, resulting in delays in accreditation. Electoral officers also moved swiftly to calm voters and provide clarifications at affected polling units.
I've called the router, that's the technical support. They said we should wait for additional 10 to 15 minutes. So be calm.
Yes, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
In Ikere local government area, some elderly voters and youths expressed frustration over delays in accreditation, calling for faster resolution of technical issues.
The camera is not showing, it's not doing. The last time you vote for here, they are so easy, which is very bad. It's very bad. Very bad. Maybe you talk to Lane. Maybe you help us to buy new another one and check. Send another one here. And me, the something is not good. The BIVAS, I think, what do you call it?
The BIVAS.
Yeah, it's not working.
It's not working for you.
Oh, yes, for older people. For older people, it's not working.
However, in other locations such as Ekiti West local government area, accreditation commences smoothly by 8:30 a.m. with the voting process described by observers as peaceful and orderly.
The voters were also turning out, in the morning when I was moving around, just in Ado-Ekiti anyways, voters were already at the polls from 8:30, which shows that there was that level of interest to come out, but now we don't know what the numbers would look like, which is a good thing, because it shows some level of interest in exercising that constitutional right to vote. And I think it's important that other states watch, because when you come out on time, you can then make that demand on the Electoral Commission to ensure early commencement of polls across board.
Observers including Sebastian Onya, first Vice President of the Nigeria Bar Association, and President Nigeria Women Trust Fund, Brenda Anugwom, commend the generally calm conduct of the election across several polling units.
This election is a litmus test for the next year general election. And so I can say that the soldiers that are here, the immigration that are here, the police officers, other arms that are here. So far, they have conducted themselves well. For now, they have conducted themselves very well. But I wouldn't say what will happen in the next few hours. That's why I cannot draw a conclusion for now until the elections come to an end.
In her arms, was given a seat to relax while the officials were setting up. So I found that also very good. It means that the CVE, the Continuous Voter Education, is working. People know those who are for priority voting, and they are following the rules accordingly.
Meanwhile, candidates of the PDP and the ADC who cast their votes early in the day expressed concerns over the conduct of the exercise. The PDP governorship candidate decries alleged voter intimidation, while the ADC flag bearer raises concerns over vote buying.
My observation is that the APC members, they are bringing money here to distribute at the polling booths. And yes, we saw them. And they are still doing it right away. They are doing there. They are doing it.
The security operatives are here. What are they doing?
Yes, I've alerted them, but it's like they are not doing anything.
So what's your take on the turnout of voters?
The turnout is impressive, but it's being marred by these malpractices of distributing money. Yes, I'm calling the security agents to be up and doing and come here so that they can stop them from distributing money. It's not part of the electoral guideline to distribute money.
People have been here for about 1.5 hours and only 5 people have voted in my polling unit. That's what they do all the time. So I am suspecting that there's something wrong with the INEC process. I'm going to hang around. If they are voting 5 people per hour, that is sad. Something is wrong. They have called the RATEC for the last 45 minutes. He hasn't been here. You cannot enfranchise these people. It is sad for democracy in Nigeria.
Amid the exercise, the incumbent and candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Mr. Abiodun Oyebanji, cast his ballot in Ekiti West local government area alongside his wife, Mrs. Olayemi Oyebanji. The governor, who later addressed the press at his residence in Ikogosi, commended President Bola Tinubu for amending the Electoral Act.
There is a saying that a farmer who has diligently tilled the ground do not need to fear the day of harvest. Do you understand? We've campaigned in Ekiti. We've been in the saddle for close to 4 years. We have served our people diligently. And today is the day of harvest. Those who have not done anything, who have not sown anything, have every cause to fear. I have not heard of cases of intimidation. I have not heard of cases of inducement. But people must give reasons for failure, especially pending failure.
As voting progresses across the state, security presence remains strong in most local government areas visited, with no major incidents reported so far and electoral activities continuing under close monitoring.
And after voting ended, sorting and counting of ballots commenced across polling units in the state. However, the process was not as smooth as it should be, as it turned rowdy in some polling units as party officials and members argued over the validity of ballot papers. Sorting of votes also commenced at polling unit 001, Ado-Ekiti local government area, where various party agents and security operatives are monitoring the exercise. And now to some reactions to the Ekiti state elections. The chairman of Ekiti APC campaign organization and governor of Kaduna State, Mr. Obasani, did take a tour of some polling units in Ado-Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital. Addressing news reporters after the tour, Governor Sani, who was flanked by the National Secretary of the APC, Mr. Ajibola Bashir, says the APC administration in Ekiti State has done its homework and believes the outcome of the poll will be favorable in the long run. According to him, opposition in Ekiti are not on ground, but mostly on social media.
Thank you very much. As we are speaking, we have reached out to about 177 wards of the state and 16 local governments. Our people have been out in all the polling units in Ekiti State, working in the last 2 weeks. We have reached out to all the voters across the state, and I can assure you, from what we've seen on ground, it's APC that is here in Ekiti State, and I'm not surprised because the Governor Oyebanji, have done extremely well. From what we've seen since we came in here first 2 months ago, we've seen the giant effort he made, particularly in the area of education, as well as the area of infrastructural development. He has done well also in the area of healthcare, particularly primary healthcare. But one area that is really helping us today is his determination to carry everyone along, irrespective of party, religious or ethnic affiliation. We had a series of meetings, particularly with the non-indigenous here in Ekiti State. And we're happy that he has been running a very inclusive government that has really given the APC advantage here.
And staying with the Ekiti governorship election, Senate leader Mr. Okweyemi Bamidele has described the exercise as a critical litmus test for the country's new electoral law. Speaking after casting his ballot in his polling unit, Senator Bamidele noted that the outcome will ultimately determine whether the current legal framework requires further amendment.
It's important to say that I'm happy to witness what I've seen today. This is the first major election to be conducted under the new electoral law. And as you know, it's not only in Ekiti State that elections are holding today. By-elections are also holding in some other states, some other parts of the country. And at the end of the day, cumulatively, by the time both INEC as well as the political parties and the observers, election observers, also come up with their own analysis of what happened today, we'll be in a better position to know whether there's a need for further amendment of the electoral law.
The election observer group Yaga Africa, they raised some concerns over discrepancies among ballot papers, result sheets, as well as the list of candidates as published by the Independent National Electoral Commission in the Ekiti State governorship election. In a statement by the chair of the 2026 Ekiti Election Observation Mission, Dr. Aisha Abdullahi, and Yaga Africa's executive director, Samson Itodo, the organization noted that Form EC8A polling unit result sheets provided spaces for 15 political parties, while the ballot papers in circulation contained 19 parties. Yaga Africa said INEC's final list of candidates, as updated on its website on June 18, 2026, reflected 14 political parties and fielded candidates, warning that the inconsistencies could create confusion during voting and results collation. And in part two, after the break, more on the governorship election in Ekiti State, as our political editor, Sheon Okimbaloye, will be bringing us updates. That's in a moment. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the News at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. It's a big day for residents of Ekiti State as political parties battle for the votes across the 16 local government areas. And the air in Ekiti comes under scrutiny as Yaga Africa raises concerns over discrepancies in ballot papers, result sheets, and the list of candidates published by INEC. Voters also head to the polls today for by-elections in Rivers Southeast Senatorial District and the Zuru State constituency seat in Kebbi State. And the United States denies Iran's claims regarding a potential closure of the Strait of Hormuz following Israeli attacks in Lebanon. We did promise more on the elections in Ekiti State now, and to join us to bring us up to speed of our political editor, Sheon Kimbole, joining us now. Great to have you, Sheon. Definitely you've been busy today. What's happened so far?
Thank you, Ladi, and welcome to Ado Ekiti, the Ekiti State capital. Well, tonight, interestingly, it's been raining, and I think to a large extent the weather has been very clement, allowed the voters to cast their vote all through the day, and it's largely very calm and peaceful. Observer groups have said this. The police authorities have spoken to Channels Television exclusively, saying there's only been one arrest that has been made of a man who was allegedly to have captured and snatched a ballot box. But the police, with a pursuit, chased after him and recollected and took back the ballot box, and he's in custody. That is the only incident and the only report the police authorities have told Channels Television or confirmed to us that have happened today in terms of violence relating to this election. But INEC, the REC, has told us that the collation of result at the INEC headquarters will begin at 10 p.m. That's just supposed to begin in the last few minutes. But what we understand is that some of the officials who arrived at the collation center at the INEC headquarters in Ado Ekiti have since also left to return later. But what we have also noticed is in the INEC IREF, which is a portal for the viewing of result, about almost 90% of the result have now come in. But we do not know the physical result from EC8A and the rest that have come in for collation at the INEC headquarters. There are 16 local government areas, and we will get to listen to local government returning officer one after the other in all of the 16 local government areas to return the result, and that is when we will be able to know the winner in this election. It's raining, and hopefully this does not go too long, because the weather might delay the process of the announcement or the collation of the result, because everyone will have to be careful in moving in and around town. Don't forget, Ladi, today was also an examination day for students. They were allowed, despite the fact that from about 6 a.m. up until 6 p.m. today, there was a curfew that was imposed and restriction of movement. But it's an election that a lot of people said it is not as competitive that one will imagine as we've seen in the past in terms of political participation, but also one that has also experienced huge number of PVC collection, 97%, but the turnout is what is yet to be determined, and the final outcome and the winner of the exercise is yet to be determined, Ladi.
Right, definitely. I guess we can call it showers of blessings right there. But, you know, beyond party politics, what would you say were the key issues, you know, some of the voters were talking about mostly there? Because I know you did feel their pulse.
Yeah, there are some fundamental issues that came up. One is in the performance of the beavers, the machine that is used for accreditation and voting. That gave some problems to some older and elderly voters who turn up at the polling units. Some of them who complained that they were not, their biometrics or their facial recognition feature was denied, and whether or not they had to resort to using a manual process, and whether or not that, how much is that allowed under the INEC guideline and the electoral law is yet to be seen. But that is a major complaint that a lot of voters had in some of the polling units that we monitor. Another issue that came up is that INEC gave 3 different figures as to the political party participation. On the ballot paper, we saw 19 political parties listed on the ballot paper. On the election result sheet, 15 political parties were listed. on the INEC release of the political party and the candidate. 14 political parties and their candidates were listed. So the discrepancies in the number of political party participation was an issue, but we did ask the INEC rec about this, and he blamed judiciary and politicians for it, because up until the last moment there were issues, court cases, which made them to resolve into printing all of the political party names on the ballot paper, and that's the reason he gave for the discrepancies. Ladi.
All right, thank you so much for your coverage, and definitely anytime now I will be expecting the results. Shino Kimberloe, our political editor, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, in other elections today in Rivers State, the Independent National Electoral Commission also conducted by-elections to fill the vacant seat of the Rivers Southeast Senatorial District, representing the 7 local government areas of Andoni, Tai, Kana, Gokana, Eleme, Oibo, and Opobonkoro. Following the exercise, stakeholders in Gokana local government area have expressed concern over technical challenges, which they say caused delays in the accreditation of voters at some polling units.
The by-election to fill the vacant Rivers Southeast senatorial seat featured 4 political parties, the AA, APC, LP, and PDP. However, network challenges affected Beaver's accreditation in parts of wards 1, 3, 4, and 6, as well as others in Gokana local government area.
The voting process leaves a lot to be desired, because we came here very early in the morning, about 8 o'clock. A lot of people came here, women with their families, hoping that they would vote, and the machines were not working. It's only about 1 hour ago that in my own unit we commenced voting. A lot of people got frustrated and had to go home.
I've voted. The crowd is massive. The village is highly enlightened, and people have turned out en masse. But the Beavers machine has incapacitated a lot of persons who wanted to vote. Their names are there on the register. They have their PVCs, but the machine is not capturing them.
Concerned parties at affected polling units called on INEC to deploy incident forms and take steps to ensure eligible voters are not disenfranchised.
Those persons you see here, they've not been able to vote because of the machine. The Beavers is failing, it's not working. And they are saying that they cannot do manual accreditation. People are just here stranded, and we are waiting for INEC to come and address them so that we can have a way forward. That's the situation here.
But they should know that given that these problems are likely to come, there should be backup. And so that when this one is not working, they can have another one to quickly replace that one, and so that work will continue. But I will tell you, like you said, not only Ward 4, that was reported in Ward 3, Ward 1, reported in Ward 16, reported in Ward 11. Almost everywhere face that today.
The Beavers issue is also acknowledged by the APC coalition officer in Kana.
You know, I receive complaints from virtually all the units in my local government. So from over 200 units that have reached out to me, the story is the same. But the rat tech, as they call them, are up to the task. They are moving around to make sure that they can make amends.
Despite the delays, voting proceeded smoothly in several polling units, including wards 11 and 17, with the chairman of the NUPRC, Senator Magnus Abe, commending the conduct of the exercise.
At the time you were here, a lot of the machines didn't work that day, but now everything is working. So the complaints we had last time, we cannot have it today because the process has improved and the things are working better. And my own belief is that every exercise, every election cycle should be better than the last one.
Meanwhile, PDP senatorial candidate Senator Lakawogu described the election as peaceful and called for improvements in the deployment of technology to improve the electoral process.
The tentative reports have been those of the challenge of the Beavers. We are hoping. INEC, we understand, are working hard to fix the problem. We understand that it's not limited to us. That is why we are not really distant. But our people really turned out to vote, and it is that opportunity to vote we are hoping they can exercise. If they do exercise, then it's a satisfactory process. But going forward, I think that we should be cautious on the over-reliance of technology. Proving technology will help us, but technology just by name will be a challenge.
While some voters were eventually accredited and cast their ballots, many others, such as most voters at the 21 polling units in Ward 4, reportedly left without voting due to the prolonged delays.
And still looking at other elections now, residents of Zuru State constituency of the Kebbi State House of Assembly have voted in a by-election across 200 polling units to elect their representative. Collation of results have begun with Mohammed Danladi serving as collation officer. The exercise follows the death of the lawmaker representing the constituency, Mr. Mohammed Usman Zuru. Only the All Progressives Congress and the Labour Party fielded candidates for the exercise.
It's election day in Zuru local government area as voters turned out to elect a new lawmaker following the death of the representative who served as the Speaker of the Kebbi State House of Assembly. Some of the dignitaries in the area are participating in the process, including the Kebbi State Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Mr. Abubakar Kana Zuru, who cast his vote at Mango Huaji polling unit. He is confident that the APC will emerge victorious in the election.
Our supporters are coming out now to vote. I come out today to cast my vote on my unit under my ward, Manga Ushe ward, and I pray, inshallah, by the grace of God, people of Zulu and Kebbi State will be happy of this by-election. That's what I'm doing today.
The rainfall did not deter these residents at the Alhaji Budu polling unit in Rafin Zuru community to participate in the process. The All Progressives Congress and the Labour Party are the only parties participating in the exercise.
The whole exercise is very encouraging, considering the turnout, of people to come and cast their votes to perform their civic responsibility. And it's out of the fact that what you are seeing today is an indication that our governor, His Excellency Comrade Dr. Nasro Karangondu, is doing very, very well.
Confidence about victory, alhamdulillah, is straight jacket. We are so formidable that the main opposition parties refuse to file candidates for the election, despite the fact that it's an election to be held by INEC. So I think we are very good. It looks promising. As you can see, there are a lot of people here who have come to cast their votes. Most of this is going on smoothly without any hitch.
Among those on ground to monitor the exercise is the Speaker of the Kebbi State House of Assembly, Mr. Salihu Dangoje. He is impressed with the process, especially the participation of women in the process.
The chances of APC is very open. It's very clear. It's very clear, as you can see here. Everybody is voting APC. So, inshallah, we are expecting by 2027, APC will clear all the seats for Mr. President to State House of Assembly. There's no doubt about it.
Security operatives were deployed to strategic locations to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order during the process, which did not record any incident.
And in other news, former military head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, has been reflecting on the current security and economic challenges in the country. In a statement personally signed by him to commemorate his 84th birthday, he warns that the attempt to politicize the security situation in the country will do the nation no good. In his words, over the years, politicizing security matters has worsened situations, and this has brought us to where we are today. I enjoin everyone to cooperate with the government and security agencies at all levels to defeat these evil ones who do not recognize ethnicity, religion, political parties, communal life, or any form of identity. On the economy, the former head of state said no nation can develop in an atmosphere of massive insecurity. He also maintains that Nigeria is the only country that citizens have, noting that the armed forces must defend the unity and sovereignty of the country. He ended the statement by urging Nigerians to be calm, law-abiding, and maintain collective vigilance for the critical task of nation-building that lies ahead. In the meantime, a former Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, Brigadier General Maharzu Sega, retired. His alleged that bandits groups operating in parts of northern Nigeria may be receiving support from individuals within government circles, while insisting that negotiations alone cannot end the country's growing insecurity. General Siga, who was kidnapped from his hometown in Katsina State in February last year and spent several weeks in captivity before regaining freedom, made remarks while speaking with journalists during a press conference in Kaduna State.
Security is a collective responsibility. It is not only the bandits that matters. Those people that are around, that are assisting them, for instance, who? The informers. If you negotiate and the informers are not having money in their pockets, what is there? And these informers, we should take note of this. It is not only the locals. Some of them are in the government offices. For instance, one of the days I was there around 2 a.m., this issue came up. Somebody called and said that, please, Kachala, are you ready to buy 10 cartons of ammunition? He said yes, but let me finish with one old man. And when he finished with me, he was talking to me. I asked him, Joy, put me inside this business now. Let me know. He said, who are you? You are a retired general. You don't have office. We are talking to people who are in the office. Now, comparatively, if you look at it with your question, who are you negotiating with? You will negotiate with the bandits. The suppliers are there, they will not allow that. Because they are after what? They are not after the lives and properties of individuals, they are after their pockets.
And still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria records first shipment on the route with Rwanda Air from Lagos, nearly 1 year after the Nigeria-East Southern Africa air cargo corridor was launched to cut freight costs and boost trade under AFCFTA. That's a moment to stay with us. Welcome back to watching News at 10 live on Channels Television. Now to governance and public sector reforms. The Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority has unveiled its newly introduced electronic physical planning process system. Speaking at the EPPS sensitization program, the State Head of Service, Mr. Alabode Oguru, commended the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development for initiating a historic transition to electronic systems for planning approvals. He says through the platform, applicants and stakeholders will access planning permit services more efficiently, ensuring greater transparency, accountability, and ease of doing business.
Lagos, the commercial nerve center of Nigeria, is a city that attracts investors. The green area is a sight to behold, with monuments of heroes and heroines. Unfortunately, the state is currently experiencing a challenge in the area of waste management, as some residents often disregard payment of waste bill and dump their refuse along the medians, defacing most parts of the metropolis. Concerned about this environmental challenge, some residents are calling on the relevant authorities to act swiftly to prevent disease outbreak.
The last time they came to our street is December. No. We don't see them. All our deaths. Go to Daniel Street.
A mega city that generates over 13,000 tons of waste on a daily basis, waste compactor trucks seem to be in short supply. And to address this shortage, other government agencies have come out to lend a helping hand in addressing refuse collection.
If we have so many refuse on the street, it may also affect the health of Lagosians. If we don't evacuate our solid waste, then we have issues. So by any means necessary, we want to make sure we contribute.
The state government has also inaugurated a special task force to monitor the metropolis against indiscriminate waste dumping.
Between Loma and Ministry of Transportation, we'll sit down with you, and then you will give us people that will champion some corridors for us. We're giving you the authority to arrest anyone that you find
putting waste on our express road or dumping waste on our express road. It's not a place to put it. And once you arrest them, please notify us. We'll come there and then they will be prosecuted.
NURT, National Union of Road Transport Workers, right? RTN, Road Transport. So you are on the road. And what we are saying is that our roads is being littered deliberately by people. So we want you to take that responsibility as our partners to ensure that this does not happen again.
The managing director of Loma, Mr. Muyiwa Gbadigeshin, who oversees the issues of waste, urges residents across the state to sort their waste from source and avoid dumping refuse indiscriminately.
Many people are not paying for waste. And secondly, the PSP trucks cannot access many roads because the road has not been reconstructed. And what we're doing in those areas is to introduce a new system with tricycle compactors. We've already done that in Bejuleki. Lagos Island has also started using tricycle compactors. These tricycle compactors can penetrate narrow road or bad road, and you can pay as you go. And you can reach out to us if there's any serious delay. Don't bring it out to the street. That should never be an option.
The Lagos state government believes achieving a cleaner Lagos is a collective action and advises citizens to obey environmental laws, avoid dumping refuse into the drainage channels along the road, and ensure the metropolis is safe for everyone.
And to health now. Private sector partnership has again been highlighted as a pillar for transforming primary healthcare delivery in Nigeria. This is part of the speech of the Commissioner for Health in Lagos State, Professor Akin Abayomi, at the official building relaunch and dedication ceremony of Q-Life Family Clinic's rebranded facility in Victoria Island, Lagos. The event, themed Q-Life in Bloom, not only marked a major structural upgrade for the 26-year-old institution, but celebrated a transitioning legacy of care now championed by the second generation of leadership. Our correspondent Chris Elam's reports.
Thank you. Please for yourself.
A gathering of celebration, memory, and a bold leap into the future. Friends, family, and key stakeholders in the health sector converge on Victoria Island for the building relaunch and dedication ceremony of the new Q-Life Family Clinic facility.
Let's put our hands together. Come on.
Beyond the physical infrastructure, the day serves as a tribute to the legacy of the clinic's founders, the late Dr. Adetokunbo Alakija and Dr. Olufunmilayo Alakija, having established a reputation for top-tier primary health care. The baton has now been passed to their three daughters to steer the next chapter.
25 years ago, my parents saw something that was possible. They believed healthcare was more than just treating illnesses. They believed it was about understanding people, caring for families, and providing the kind of quality healthcare that every person deserves.
Delivering the keynote address titled The Power of First Contact, the Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, commends the family's resilience and praises the vital role of private healthcare providers in bolstering statewide medical services.
70% of healthcare transactions happen in the private sector, and therefore private primary care is not the alternative. It is part of the system. We're here to protect you as the private sector. We're here to make policies that enhance your viability and welfare as joint partners with government.
From its humble beginnings in the year 2000, Q-Life's growth trajectory has been profound, a sentiment strongly echoed by the clinic's medical director.
And today it's not really so much about the building. It's fantastic, you would see it. But it's about the journey that we've been on and the fact that we've had 26 years to look after thousands of patients.
With a new era unfolding, the chairperson of the board takes time to honor the foundations laid by the pioneers, emphasizing that the mission remains unchanged.
But we honor those dreams today. We honor the dreams my mom had. We honor the dreams my dad had. And it's the dreams that we're using as our blueprint to build. It's the dreams that we're using to bring their legacy to life.
A deeply emotional note of gratitude is shared by Pastor Lola Alakija on behalf of the families.
I express profound gratitude to all who have contributed to preserving and advancing Ade's and Fumi's legacy. The management, staff, friends, and well-wishers whose dedication and support have made this remarkable milestone possible.
Next is the official blessing and cutting of the ribbon. As a premier primary healthcare provider committed to personalized family-centered care, the management says this facility upgrade is a physical reflection of Q Life in Bloom. Chris Elems, Channels Television News.
Turning to oil and gas. Now, Nigeria's local content development model in the oil and gas sector is increasingly gaining international recognition. A delegation from the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation is in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State, to understudy the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board's policy frameworks, implementation strategies, and capacity building initiatives that have transformed indigenous participation in the nation's energy sector.
For decades, African oil-producing nations grappled with the challenge of ensuring that the natural resources translated into jobs, industrial growth, and economic prosperity for their citizens. Nigeria's response to this challenge through the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act and the establishment of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board has become a reference point on the continent. A delegation from the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation is visiting Yenagoa, the Bayelsa State capital, for knowledge sharing and benchmarking of this success story.
Ghana and Nigeria has had a very long years of cooperation in business, in energy, and this is certainly one of them. And in the past 1 week, past few days, we have engaged, we've shared knowledge, we have even shared stories, and we are happy to take you through our processes.
NCDMB highlights the strategic pillars that have driven Nigeria's local content success.
When you partner with development finance institutions, it's also important that you create products, bespoke products that are relevant to the service sector. So again, you have to understand the landscape in terms of what are the funding requirements of these service companies. That was how we're able to design contract financing, which is the main activity.
The Ghanaian delegation appreciates the depth of knowledge garnered from their visit.
We have understood the governance structure of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board. I didn't say local content, Nigerian content, patriotism. We have seen the institution, we have seen the project, we have seen the deliberate action to ensure that Nigerians are in the driving seat of the local content agenda.
Local content advocates believe regional collaboration and knowledge exchange remain critical to building resilient and competitive energy economies across the continent.
And in other news, the Director General of the National Productivity Center says Nigeria has recorded steady productivity growth, notwithstanding some challenges, including insecurity in some parts of the country. Addressing journalists after a sensitization walk in Abuja, the center says Nigeria's 2025 productivity index improved significantly over previous years. According to the 2025 Global Innovation Index, Nigeria ranks 105th out of the over 130 economies on the World Intellectual Property Organization's Global Innovation Productivity Index. The report further shows that Nigeria, however, improved its global technology and artificial intelligence readiness ranking.
With the
new economic recovery of the president and the incentives in place for workers, the Nigeria's productivity will be at the increase. And I'm happy the World Productivity Index, Nigeria has improved based on the 2025 index that is recently out. I think in 1 week, the World Productivity Index will be published, and you will see the improvement that Nigeria has. And of course, there are some shortcomings which we have observed. And I think even before we wrote the report to the ministry onward to Mr. President, already the channels have been put in place to get those indices that Nigeria lacks in place. The mineral resources, different mineral resources within the country. The government had put in place so many mechanisms to tap those resources that were not in place before. But probably people just using it for their own gain and they don't remit anything to the government. The government has tapped into all those resources.
And to transport now, about 1 year after the Nigeria East Southern Africa Air Cargo Corridor was first launched to create lower rates to 3 destinations in Entebbe, Uganda, Nairobi, Kenya, and Johannesburg, South Africa, Nigeria recorded the inaugural shipment of the Nigeria East Southern Africa Air Cargo Corridor with Rwanda Air from Lagos State. While the corridor recorded a 40% increase in export volumes, the volume is projected to more than double as businesses are certified to operate the expanded routes on the AFCFTA platform.
It's a small but powerful gathering with the Ministers of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Keyamo, and that of the Trade, Industry and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole. There are also representatives of Rwanda Air, as well as others from other Eastern and Southern African countries. After months of talks behind closed doors, an agreement has been reached.
In aviation, we have been pushing for a single African sky, and that is the SATAM, which is also called the Yamoussoukro decision, or the principles of the single African air transport market.
For many businesses, especially MSMEs, logistics cost of $3 to as high as $10 per kilogram meant that Nigerian products became uncompetitive before they even reached destination markets. Under the leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, and in line with the renewed Hope agenda, we made a commitment that AFCFTA must work in practice.
Rwanda has consistently championed regional integration, trade facilitation, and efficient logistics systems. We therefore welcome this collaboration as a concrete contribution towards realizing the objectives of CFTA.
Connected regulators and government agencies are part of this agreement.
If our export standard was at the level of sitting, now it's going to be standing. If it was standing, now it's going to be walking. If it was walking, now it's going to be running. If it was running, it's going to be flying. And if it was flying, trust me, it's going to be appearing and disappearing.
To activate this new relationship, 8 businesses received AFCFTA Certificate of Origin. Interestingly, all women-led businesses.
The cost has been greatly reduced, and I have discovered a huge market in East and Southern Africa. And most importantly, we have procured a serious warehouse in Kenya from where our goods will now be distributed.
You can see the cargo right here. This is one of the cargo.
Transactions begin immediately.
I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to be here with my sister.
And welcome to Sports News. The Netherlands put 1 foot in the World Cup knockout rounds with a stylish 5-1 demolition of Sweden. The country roared into a 2-0 lead after just 17 minutes, thanks to a brace from Sunderland's Brian Brobby. Liverpool's Cody Gakpo scored twice in the first 9 minutes of the second half to put the Dutch side 4-0 up, ensuring that Sweden's lone strike from Anthony Langer was only ever going to be a consolation goal. Christensen Somerville completed the Dutch riot with a fifth goal on 89th minute. And World Cup debutants Cape Verde are hoping to improve on their opening draw with Spain when they take on Uruguay in their second Group H match in Miami this Sunday. With confidence surging through the squad, the Islanders are eager to prove that the defensive masterclass against Spain was no fluke. The positive results in this high-stakes encounter would not only bluster their dreams of reaching the knockout stages, but also cement Cape Verde's reputation as a side capable of upsetting the established footballing order. Uruguay enters the crucial FIFA World Cup 2026 Group H match against Cape Verde, seeking a win after a 1-1 draw with Saudi Arabia. The South American powerhouse will need a victory at Miami Stadium in Florida to avoid falling behind in a highly competitive group, with Spain their opponents in their last group match on June 26. Uruguay will be desperate to bank all 3 points tomorrow. Now, up to 30,000 Uruguayans are expected to be cheering on coach Marcelo Bielsa's team. And that's your sports news tonight. I am Kelly Gigas. Back to Ladi Williams. All right, thank you, Kelly. Now here's something else making headlines today. The United States has denied Iran's claim on the Strait of Hormuz closure. This comes after Iran announced it's closing the strait, accusing the U.S. and Israel of violating their ceasefire deal by continuing strikes in Lebanon. Israel and Hezbollah have continued to trade accusations over alleged violations of the new ceasefire. Talks between Iran and the U.S. are set to resume in Switzerland tomorrow. Iran says it will demand that the United States fulfill its commitment, while the U.S. says its delegation is dealing with technical elements. And in the U.K., a major investigation is underway following a fatal train crash near Bedford. Authorities have confirmed that one train driver was killed and dozens more injured when 2 East Midland Railway services collided on Friday evening. 28 people remain in hospital, with 9 in critical condition. Chief Constable Lucy Police is urging the public to avoid speculation, and the Rail Accident Investigation Branch begin work at the scene. Meanwhile, EMR services to and from London St. Pancras have been suspended throughout the weekend, with trains starting and ending journeys in Bedford. And the main news again. It was a significant day for residents of Ekiti State as political parties battled for votes across all 16 local government areas. And the air in Ekiti came under heavy scrutiny as Yaga Africa raised serious concerns regarding notable discrepancies in ballot papers, result sheets, and the list of candidates that had been published by the Independent National Electoral Commission. And beyond the events in Ekiti, voters also went to the polls to participate in critical by-elections for the Rivers Southeast Senatorial District seat in Rivers State and Zuru State constituency seat in Kebbi State. And the United States officially denied claims made by Iran regarding the potential closure of the Strait of Hormuz following recent Israeli attacks in Lebanon. And that's it on the news at 10 tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Ladi Williams from the team right here at Channels HQ. Good night.